Hi, I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and today we're playing some Azorius Affinity. This is a list that I made for my collaboration with Siege Ryan, where we both brought some brews to play against each other, so if you haven't checked that out, that was a really fun video to do, but I wanted to also take this list for a league and see if it actually had any potential in the meta. Now, the reason I wanted to brew this is because Stormcloud Prowler is a card I've had my eye on for a couple of years now. It's just a 2/1 for 2, but every time you cast a spell with 5 mana value or greater, you get 2 counters on it, which feels like it could grow extremely quickly if we're playing things like Affinity, where we can cast really cheap cards that have 5 CMC or more. So of course we're playing Thoughtcast, Ultra Monitor, Mirror Enforcer, we're also playing Salt Road Pack Beast, and also a couple Lens Flare. This is not a card you see very often, but of course it fits our 5 mana value threshold, and I think it's honestly not that bad of a card in a white Affinity deck like this. We also have a couple Ethereum Spinners, which also has a payoff for casting expensive creatures, or spells of any kind that is. We have Of One Mind, which shouldn't be too hard to get online and be able to draw 2 cards for 1 mana. We have a bunch of Thraben and Novice Inspectors and Ornithopters to help our Affinity count early, and also use our Springleaf Drums to power out all of our creatures. We of course are playing a whole bunch of artifact lands and some plains. Sideboard we have Journey to Nowhere's, Revoke Existence, Hydroblast, Envelop, and Blue Elemental Blast. So let's take this for a league and see how we do. Thanks to Card Market for sponsoring this video. This hand is not great. We get to play Spectre. I mean, I think we'll keep it. We have the Affinity count, so I wish this Pack Beast was any of our Affinity spells instead of this, but that's okay. I think we'll just lead with the Inspector. I can still get blue with the Springleaf Drum next turn if I really want. This obviously is a little more aggressive, and if I get more creatures, it can just be better. Very Miscreant. So it looks like mono blue, Fae, probably. Seat. I think I'm just gonna... I could get in for 1 damage, but I think I'd rather crack this clue. Try to draw to something here. So let's just pass. We'll probably see a Ninja come out. Indeed. Moon Circuit Hacker. Miscreant. Replayed, but not for any value, so it's not the worst thing ever. Let's crack the clue. Ethereum Spinner, and there's our Prowler. So I could have 4 mana this turn. This, and this are all humans, so I can't actually Of One Mind as well this turn. Probably want a Spinner. And I could play a Razortide Bridge, then I'm letting these get in, but I don't really want to trade this off anyway until I play the Pack Beast, I don't think. So let's just go for the Spinner, which they're going to have trouble removing. I mean, maybe they snap it or something, but if they don't, this making flyers is going to be really, really good for us. Not to mention if I can get a 5-drop like a Ultra Monitor or something, this will make double creatures, and then makes it so the Pack Beast is cheap a lot quicker. We are going to take the hit here. They just loot. Get rid of another hacker I didn't want to use. Interesting. Very Seer. We get another drum. So they could have Spellstutter Sprite for up to a 3-drop. So I think I probably just want to play Pack Beast for 4. If they counter that, then I can resolve an Of One Mind. Either way, I get a 1/1 flyer here. Actually, let's go for a Springleaf Drum. If they want to counter this with a Spellstutter, that's like totally fine by us. All right, here's the Pack Beast. I feel like it might eat a counter spell. Oh, but if not, it's pretty good. Ornithopter. Not a bad card to play, actually. I'm going to cast that. If they want to spell stutter this, then I actually get to resolve the Of One Mind. And if not, it's just a good blocker. Let's pass the turn. They have another Miscreant, so that's pretty good. Draws them a card. I did want to get the Prowler down before the Pack Beast, obviously. And I had the mana to do it, but then if they spell stuttered the Prowler, I couldn't really cast much else. And I didn't really want that to happen, so pretty happy with how the turn played out. They didn't end up using that mana at all, and we got to develop some pretty good cards. Swinging with the Miscreant and a Seer. Okay. I mean, I block the Miscreant, and I'll block the Seer. If they want to Brine Bearer this, that's totally fine. Which they do. Ancient Den. Alright, here we'll go for the Prowler. If it gets countered, I get to resolve an Of One Mind, and that's pretty fine by me. And if it doesn't, then we get another 2/1. We'll just keep that on the field. Yeah, they're just going to counter it. So let's draw 2. We got Ornithopter's not bad. Lens Flare is fine. Does make another 1/1 flyer for us. Swing with the Pack Beast. Pass the turn. Swing with all of these. Shooting 1 with a Lens Flare doesn't actually stop a Ninja from coming out. So I think we're going to take the chance and let them buy back a Ninja. Or rather, buy something back and then we're going to block it with a Ninja. Or kill it with a Ninja. What am I saying? We're going to kill the Ninja with the Lens Flare. That's what I'm trying to say. Block here, block here. I don't want them to get a Miscreant or a Spell Stutter, but I can't really stop both. So I guess we'll do this. Hacker, and I guess I could kill the Miscreant. Oh, if I had killed... Oh, I would have made a 1/1 with flying. I should have done this before blocks then. I totally forgot I would have made the 1/1. And now if they have another Ninja, they can swap them. I'm planning that they don't. That's the goal. But I definitely punted a little bit because I could have made a 1/1 and blocked, and they wouldn't have gotten the Miscreant back, which can now draw them another card. I guess by waiting until they picked up the Fairy Miscreant, technically I played around another Spell Stutter Sprite. So maybe I'm actually a genius. Who knows? Cryo Shatter. Yeah, if they have a way to tap it, it'll die right away. If not, then it's still got its ability, which is pretty good, but I assume they have like a Strix here, yep. Of One Mind is really good. Monitor and Inspector are pretty decent. Keep the Monitor until we maybe get like another, well, to see if we get like a Prowler. I'm still going to cast it here, obviously. Swing with the Pack Beast. Take another 4. They loot with the Strix. Little desperate. Discard an island. Of One Mind, pretty good. We'll swing with the Pack Beast again. If they have a Brine Bear Intruder, they could definitely like make a pretty favorable trade, but I think it's worth trying to get in for the 4 damage here because we got them down to 8 so far. Loot again with the Strix. Discard an island. Seems they're getting a bit flooded here, as are we. Let's swing with the Pack Beast. I would attack with a Monitor, honestly, if I was confident they didn't have a Brine Bear. Like I wouldn't mind if they had to trade like 3 of their flyers for the Monitor or take 3. I don't really want them to flash in a Brine Bear and only trade 1 of them though. But the way they just chumped the Saltwood Pack Beast tells me they probably didn't have one or don't have one. They're trying to decide if they want to loot at the end step here. I assume they want to, but they're not sure if I'm holding something that I could then resolve if they tap out of a counterspell, which tells me they have a counterspell, probably. Maybe a Dispel, maybe just an actual counterspell. Or a Spell Stutter. Snapping the Monitor. Okay, so they might go for a big attack here. Snapping the Thopter token. Okay, definitely making some moves. Just attacking with these 3. So do I want them to be able to draw a card? Because they're definitely going to have a ninja here. Draw a card, have a Spell Stutter for 3, tap something down. I don't think draw or counter probably. Tap is still really good, but if they pick this up, it also means they are taking away their looter for now. They just get in for 1 damage? Well, that's crazy. I did not expect them to use a double snap for 1 damage. All right, I'm going to play the Monitor. I would like to thought cast and like, you know, get one of these payoffs first, but I figure they're going to have a counter spell, and I'd prefer the Thoughtcast to resolve, actually. Maybe that's worse. And if they counter them both, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Looks like they might have the second counter, but I mean, Monitor is really good. Maybe I should just resolve the Monitor. They let it go, actually. But I figure like drawing 2 cards, I gotta hit some of these more expensive cards at some point, and here we finally do. Just get in with the Pack Beast, see if they finally want to trade off like Hacker and Intruder for it. That's what I'm expecting. No, just the chump with the Miscreant. Okay, well, here's an Ornithopter and a Mere Enforcer. All right. So they countered that. That's fine. I have blockers for their whole team, so they can't get in. I guess they're going to try. I'll block with 2 Inspectors, so if they have a Brine Barrow, they can't stop it from dying, actually. If they have like a Mutagenic Growth, which I'm not expecting, I guess this would be worse because I'd lose both my guys, but that's totally fine. I think the chances they have 3 more Brine Barrows or Humbling Elders in their deck is 100%. Chances they have a Mutagenic Growth is probably like 40% because it's just not seen in most of the decks at this point. We get a Prowler. I think in case I could grow that next turn, it is worth just casting here. If they get like a Spell Stutter or a Counterspell for it, it's not the best, but we also hit in for 4. Like this could be a lethal attacker next turn if we get a way to pump it and it doesn't get countered here. They're going to loot, trying to find the answer, discarding an island, and they do not. Loot again, discarding a Brine Barrow. Seems like they might have had it, or they just drew into it. Looting again, get rid of an island, no attacks. We get a Thoughtcast, so we're going to cast it. They might have a counterspell, but it's going to grow our Prowler regardless. And if they don't have a counterspell, it's just also really good. Okay, here's an Of One Mind. That could get Spell Stuttered, which it is going to be. But I can also Monitor, grow this guy again. Boom, huge attacker. So 2 lethal attackers coming in here that they got to chump or trade with the Pack Beast. We still have blockers for everything. Chump them both. All right, and we got there. Don't have much of a sideboard here, but honestly, I think we're pretty well suited towards them anyway. We saw Ornithopters, Ethereum Spinners, Monitors. We have a lot of flyers. We just have a lot of ground creatures for ninjas. I could do Journeys. I think the instant speed Lens Flare is probably better, not to mention the fact that it triggers our guys. Revoke technically hits their Moon Circuit Hackers, but that's not good enough. And Envelop hits their Of One Minds, but that's not good enough. So not really a matchup we teched for, and I think that's totally fine. This one looks decent. The Of One Mind might be a little awkward if we can't get like a Spinner token, starting with the Seer. But the Spinner, if it resolves and we can keep it around and get some guys, is really good. They double bottom, so they might be looking for a land. I don't get to Inspector yet because of our tap land, which could be awkward if they just hold up a Spell Stutter for it. I frankly prefer they just go for a Ninja here, I think. They don't, but they do in fact miss that land. So that's pretty good for us. So we can Inspector, Seat, Springleaf Drum, and I could Monitor. Monitor's really good, but I feel like holding Monitor for triggering off the spinner might be better. I mean, getting a 1/1, I don't know. I guess unless I get an untapped land, I can't even do it next turn, so maybe that was not right. They're going to swing for 1. We'll take it. No land from them. I mean, we're kind of golden either way then, I think. I mean, because it's probably more fun, I'm going to go for the spinner here, but I could also go for Monitor into of One Mind. Oh, they have a null. Okay. You know, that is good. I guess not playing into that last turn with the Monitor might have been a good play then that I wasn't even intending. Swing with the Seer. They have a big ninja maybe? They do. Okay. We're going to have the blockers for it though. They're pretty far behind just because they have to like tap out here. Can't hold up counterspell. We get to kind of do whatever. So here's a Monitor into of One Mind, into Inspector, and we have a double Lens Flare. Well, we can only cast 1, but we'll also really only need 1. I think we'll just attack. If they have a way to like tap or snap the Monitor, then I can probably just Lens Flare the ninja, and that's going to be good enough. There's a Cryo Shatter. It's tapped or is dealt damage. All right, Lens Flare off of the Inspector so that we won't be losing the Monitor here. They could have like a Dispel. That's fine. I could block if I really want to. All right, they just concede. Yeah, obviously a rough draw there. All right, this one I don't think is good enough. This one should be. It's a little awkward, but we can do turn 1 Ornithopter, Bridge, or just Ornithopter, Springleaf Drum, Inspector. We're almost there to the Pack Beast. Yeah, we'll keep it and get rid of the Lens Flare, I think. Against something red. All right, let's go for the creatures so that we can have blockers if they're like Rally, although with no 1-drop, I'm expecting it to probably be Madness. There's Grab the Prize, discarding a Gutter Snipe. Ooh, Seat. So I can play Inspector, not quite play the Pack Beast, but I could crack a Clue if I want to, which is probably good. 2, 3. Yeah, let's start by cracking a Clue even. All right, play an Inspector, swing for 1. Next turn we can play a Pack Beast. There's a Gutter Snipe. We do have of One Mind. Would still let me play the Pack Beast if I really need. Let's start with the of One Mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Springleaf Drum is mana neutral. And then because Enforcer gives us a mana for this, it's mana neutral, right? So do this. And then Pack Beast will cost 2. All right, pretty decent. I will say no main deck removal that's going to take care of a Gutter Snipe is pretty rough for us. So I kind of expect we'll just die here. Grab the Prize with a Snacker. They go for a Looting, Fiery Temper. That is a lot of damage. They kill the Pack Beast. Inspector, crack a Clue. Just getting lands. Inspector, crack another Clue. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. Swing here. No blocks. Play an Enforcer and die, I assume. Oh, and I tapped the Ornithopter, which I meant to have it as a blocker for the Snacker, which I could have done if I just didn't attack with an Inspector and tapped one of those or something. Oh well. Flashback the Looting. Lava Dart from hand. They have another one engraved, not to mention this one just is lethal. All right, we do have probably a little underprepared for the red matchup in the main deck, which is my bad, but maybe overprepared here. We have 6 blasts and then also all the envelops. I feel like cutting down some Pack Beasts because those can get killed. Spinners seem pretty bad here. Prowlers could be good in the right situation. So hopefully we can hold them for the right time. But frankly, I think we still cut down on these a little bit for all these removal spells. We just try to like grind them out with some Enforcers, Monitors, or even a bunch of Inspectors. All right, this looks fine. I can get an of One Mind on turn 2, 2, 3. Actually, I could even get a Monitor out on turn 2. That seems even better because we can go Inspector here into Monitor. They got to grab the prize with a Snacker. We have an Inspector, go for of One Mind. We get an Envelop, a little pinched on blue mana. Swing for 4 here. Smash to smithereens on the Monitor. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, we're going to block, but if I get like a Mirror Enforcer, it might be not great to have done that. Let's go for a Thought Cast. That might Pyro it, to be honest. Envelop doesn't hit Pyroblast anyway, though, so I think, yeah, it was fine to do that. I'm going to leave up cracking a Clue / Envelop here. Take 2. They have a Gutter Snipe, which I can hopefully find a Blue Blast for. No, not really. Just draw a whole bunch of lands, I guess. Crack a Clue. Ornithopter, perfect. Pass the turn. I could maybe get in a couple of damage, but it's probably fine. We'll chump. They're going to pass. We get a Hydroblast. Feels like they're going to have a counter spell for it. Pyro of their own. Just Fiery Temperous in response, plus a Cast into the Fire. Swing for 2. Take 2 from the Snacker. Inspector draws a card here. It's just so many lands. Past them. We go down to 2. Faithless Looting. I guess I envelop that, and they just flash it back. They plot a robbery. Mirror Enforcer, but I can't attack for lethal, and we're dead. Definitely the deck could use a little alterations for that matchup to be a little better, I think. This looks decent. In fact, it's the Prowler start I've been wanting to have. Tap land makes it a little awkward, though, because I won't necessarily be able to cast, like, Thought Cast and stuff immediately after, but still decent. Start with the bridge. We're going to go for a Prowler, which feels like it could get snuffed out or cast down pretty easily. If we draw a land here, that's probably our best draw, because that'll let us play Inspector into like Thoughtcast Monitor. Make this attack for 6 immediately. They have a Preordain. Ancient Den is perfect. So Inspector here, Thoughtcast, trigger, Monitor, trigger, attack for 6 on turn 3. This is the dream. This is exactly what we're hoping for. Also, no snuff out's real good. Cycle a Lorien for an island. Brainstorm. They pass. I'm expecting a cast down. That's fine. We'll keep growing it while we can here with a Thoughtcast. And we can double Inspector into Pack Beast, since they didn't cast it down yet. This is literally lethal on turn 4 if they don't have a removal spell, which I'm expecting they have. But like, this is what I envisioned when I played the card and built around the card, was that like we could be dealing an insane amount of damage. They cycle for an island? What? They have a snuff out then? Okay. Just a weird way of doing it, but I mean, they're down to 6. That's still like, how on earth do they stop this? I guess they could be Terror. With Preordain, it makes me think Fairies, but if they're Terror and they drop a bunch of Terrors, they could have some game here, but Mystic is not going to do it. Even if they have a snuff out, they're just dead to everything else, I think. Of one mind. I mean, Springleaf Drum, another Prowler. Playing the Prowler so that before combat, so I can Lens Flare something maybe. Currently, they're taking lethal. Okay. Dude, that start was crazy with the Prowler. Just getting it for that one hit was really good, and then forcing the second hit to be like, you must have something right now. All right, Journey is good. I think that's about it. Lens Flare seems fine, because I expect they are fairies, and so they have some cards that flare hitting would be good for. Feels like they might bring in Arms of Adar and stuff anyway, because they saw us go wide, so I'm not sure Spinner is where we want to be. It's also just expensive and dies pretty easily. All right, we're on the draw here. We have a fast Mirror Enforcer. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it seems all right. All right, let's try it. It's not the best thing ever, but if we're able to take advantage of, like, you know, going super fast again, if they don't expect the... I think this can literally be a turn 2 Enforcer, which could be pretty good. So if I do a bridge, then I get 2 Ornithopters out. And then the next turn, I can do... They might have Spell Stutter for our 1-drops at that point, so I actually think it's better to just play all of this right away. And then next turn I can play Bridge, play a 1-mana Enforcer. You know, it's decent. Another Enforcer would be great. Prowler. Oh, that's tough. I mean, I gotta play Prowler, right? So that it grows, but that means I don't play Enforcer this turn. But it's gonna be able to hit for 4 next turn, which is just as good. So yeah, we definitely just play this. Play a Bridge and hit for 1. They cycle a Lorien. They have an Augur. Envelop. Okay. Counters our draw spells, but we just won't play them unless we have them tapped out, you know? Let's play an Enforcer. That's gonna grow the Prowler. Oh, they have an Annul too. That's annoying. Let's crack a clue here, see if we get anything. Ooh, there we go. Monitor. Grow the Prowler and hope they don't have a snuff out. We get in for 6. Okay, they chump block. Fair enough. Oh, Prowler's doing work, though. This card's busted. Cycle a Lorien for an island. Get another Augur. Finds a Preordain, which they probably don't cast because they have an Envelop up. Another Prowler. All right, we'll swing with the guys who have power. They chump block. Take 4. I'll cast a Prowler. Got to be prepared for if we get another 5-drop or higher. Play an Inspector. Pass the turn. If they have like an Arms here, it is good. It kills Prowler and 2 Inspectors, 2 Ornithopters, but then I still get to hit them for 9. So unless they also get like a snuff out, it's not the best thing ever. Start with a Preordain. Scries 1 to the top. Definitely expecting a kill spell. Ancient Den. Let's just crack a clue. We get an Enforcer. So we're going to cast that to grow both of these before we attack. It does get countered. We're going to swing with all of these. I assume this gets killed, but that's still... Yeah, there's the snuff out. This is still 9 damage if they don't have a cast down, which they do. Prowlers are scary, man. All right, they're at 6, and only 2 cards in hand, one of which is an envelop. They find a pieces of the puzzle. Okay. Oh, interesting. We have seen augurs, but pieces makes me think this is almost like serpentine curve or something. Well, they find snuff out, but they can't use that on a monitor because they die to inspectors. They get counter spells, so they choose a brainstorm and a counter spell. I think that makes sense. But I just have 5 damage on them. Don't even need to cast anything else. All right, they go to 1. Pass the turn. Brainstorm. They have a cast down for the monitor, and then an Arms Vidar. Oh, no way they're going to stabilize here. All right, they're tapped out of envelop, so this means I should draw my Thoughtcast now. That's what always happens to me when I do something like that. All right, well, we have an Enforcer. That's pretty good. We know their hand, so they do have to get a kill spell for this. Or a blocker or something. Another pieces. Finds a snuff out, but they can't cast it and they don't have the land for it. Because this can't grab them a land. It could grab them a Lorien, but that's going to only be mana neutral. They take the spells, but not going to get there. All right, we win the game. And we had some okay stuff coming. Bad here, but then these could be decent. But, oh, that was a sweet one. All right, round 4 here. This one looks decent. I mean, we have a good start. Like a pretty good curve. We get to sneak a Springleaf Drum in there too if we want to not attack for damage, but we really need the payoffs. But we play, what, 18 cards that are 5 mana value or more with the Lens Flares. So we have to draw pretty poorly to not get any at all. If we get even 1, this is a pretty good attacker, and Ethereum Spinner makes a guy. Plus we're on the play here, so the speed can definitely do us some good. Utopia Sprawl, okay. Looks like Gruul Monsters probably, which means little removal. That could be good for us. I would love to attack for 1, but I think getting the Springleaf Drum in, just getting the ramp, which can also help us get like a Mirror Enforcer or something if we draw that, is pretty good here. Or like a Neutron Monitor next turn after the spinner would be really nice. They have another Sprawl. Cycle a Generous Ent here. Then they Rumble or something. No, that's it. Okay. Well, we could crack a clue, maybe hit something for the Prowler, but I think our draws are not great, obviously, here, but I think we just continue setting up, and then next turn we can crack the clue, have 2 draws to hit something to trigger these guys. They do get to play a 5-drop here. It's an Avenging Hunter. Okay. Honestly, not that bad if we can get some monitors, some pack beasts, Mirror Enforcers, etc. That's a land. That's an Inspector. Come on, dude. 5, 6. I mean, I can crack the clue. There's nothing I can play for free. Well, maybe an Ornithopter. Do I want to throw away a spinner to get in for 3 and take the initiative? I don't think so. We will crack this. Might as well. Inspector. I would even have taken like a Lens Flare. A Lens Flare would have been great there, actually. Now it's going to be not as good. They have a Chrysalis. We also have so much card draw, right? There are 18 cards we're hoping to draw, but we have another 8 draw spells. So we literally have 26 cards that we're like pretty keen to draw, and we're not getting any of them. Okay, there's a Pack Beast. That's something. Start with the Inspector because it makes this cheaper. We get a Grow, a 1/1, a card draw here. Bridge. Let's draw another card. We get a Springleaf Drum. Okay. I guess we just got to pass. They play a Thermokarst. I wasn't sure if they were going to be Ponza, but a lot of times because Thermokarst could gain them life if they hit their own land, if it's snow. I assume Snowland is what they're going to have for Ponza. Well, we draw more lands. They didn't attack, which is good. That could be kind of saying we're stable-ish, but with the initiative going, that's not really true. A Thoughtcast into like a couple big guys would just be like the best thing ever. Altasaur into Utopia Sprawl. They're gonna get a Throne next turn. Come on, just give me a Thoughtcast. All right, Enforcer's decent. I could attack with a Prowler. It can now trade with anything, but it could get even bigger, and it trading with one of these guys is not going to clear away for our other stuff, really. I think we just keep passing. I think we do have a potential to win this game. We just really need to draw a Thoughtcast into some good stuff. Lens Flare would still be okay because it could kill like an Annoyed Altasaur, Chrysalis, but I don't know. They get the Undercity and of course find another Hunter. That's the other thing is they now have a couple Reach guys. We have a couple Thopters, but can't really get through. Generous Ent. The main thing that I'm worried about is just getting trapped. Maybe twice more because we have blockers for everything. Come on, Inspector. Give me something good. Monitor's good. It's not the best. Thoughtcast into Monitor would be great. That would be the best. And with the Ent, they have 3 Reach creatures now. We technically have 4 attacking flyers with the Monitor if I want to throw 3 of them away just to take the initiative, which, I mean, we very well might. They're going to grow the Altasaur. They have another Chrysalis. Ornithopter. That's exactly what I was waiting for. I have 8 draw spells in this deck. I know I've hit half my inspectors, and the inspectors at this point with the mana are pretty good, because of course it's just like a free guy, but I really need to get something else. They crack a food token. Oh my god. They draw an extra card. There's a boarding party, into an arbor elf, and an acid moss. Springleaf drum. Oh my goodness. Please pass the turn. I mean, we're going to lose if they just get to the trap a third time rather, which if this finds another Avenging Hunter, which it does, that's going to speed that up. So we have 2 turns left. Thermokarst. We got an Inspector. Crack our clue. We got a Pack Beast. Okay, that's a good draw. It's like an Inspector, but cheaper and more beneficial. Now find some card draw maybe. Some more. Springleaf Drum. The whole play set of Springleaf Drums. Well, I could attack with a Prowler. Trades for 1 guy. That's fine. Or maybe it gets chumped. Yeah, chump with the spawn. 2 counters on the Altasaur. Acid Moss. They're drawing so many useless cards, but we are too. Alright, here's the turn that we need to make things work. That's not enough, I don't think. Reach creatures, they have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have enough to take the initiative, technically. Not even technically, it's just a fact, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and so then we'll leave everything back to block once we have the initiative. Will we have enough toughness? I don't know, but this is our only hope. I guess I technically could have done this a turn or 2 ago, because we haven't gotten, or no, last turn was when we did the Pack Beast, so we didn't have the 5th flyer until just now. Oh, they're not even blocking the monitor. I appreciate that. All right, we take the initiative. I mean, they've probably got 40 power of trample roughly, but we might have about that much toughness. This is going to add 6 toughness to our board. All right, let's see if we can survive. And before they like Altasaur boarding party into Avenging Hunter just to kill us immediately with the trap, not even needing to attack. Structural Distortion. Blow up an Enforcer and we take 2. I don't know if that's the difference between us having enough blockers or toughness or not. We'll find out. Math is for blockers, and I believe we're about to be blockers. Yep, every creature with power is coming in. I can't let a single creature block, or rather, get through. All right, well, this 11 toughness cleanly blocks this 10 power without dying. We have 2 8/7s here, which means block, and this, just to not die. That's so much. Yeah, I feel like that's going to be too much. I mean, a lot of these don't have trample. This is another 8, which means I need to block like this. That's 8. This is 7. Yeah, not even close. This is just blocking the tramplers. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys coming through. So yeah, we're dead. So I guess that Mirror Enforcer, I mean, I would have had 2 more life, 4 more toughness, but that wouldn't have made that big of a difference. All right, well, here we get Journey to Nowheres and Envelops, if we even care about the land destruction. Although they're going to have artifact destruction like Deglamour. But they might also play like Suplex. They're going to keep in the Structural Distortions. Although I guess if those are the ones we're targeting, maybe Blue Blast would make more sense. I think we do the Envelops. In that entire game, we did not see a single one of our draw spells. We only saw, 2 Monitors, 1 Enforcer, 1 Pack Beast. Maybe 2 Pack Beasts by the end of it. Yeah, we had 2 on the field. And we saw every single drum, 2 Ornithopters, like 6 Inspectors. Outrageous. All right, what do we need here? More big guys. So I feel like we cut a couple of these. We might not have as speedy of a start, but we can hopefully just contend with them a little better in the mid game. Ethereum Spinner should be good. Lens Flare should be decent. So I don't really want to cut these. The Prowlers should also be good. So I guess we cut some Inspectors. Maybe we only do 2 Envelops. Now I'm sure we'll just only draw our top end and won't be able to function. I mean, if we get any way to trigger the spinner, then it makes a guy and we can of one mind a million times. But we don't currently have a way to cast any of this. I think we got a mulligan. Maybe I should have kept that one because it would have just been fun. Mulligan again. All right, this one's fine. Start with a bridge into a plains. Prowler. We only have 1 artifact then for the monitor. Oh god, this is so bad. I feel like Prowler's not it maybe, but I want the card draw. We do this. I feel like I need the of one mind. Yeah, I think we do this and we hope we draw well. Then go for a Sprawl. We also hope we don't get Thermokarsted immediately, I suppose. Another Prowler. Well, in the right situation, double Prowler on turn 2 and 3 would be really good. I'm not thinking this is that, because even if we get like a seat or something, we don't have the ability to cast a monitor. And they're probably just going to deglamour this bridge. Monstrous Emergence. Sure. A little annoying. I guess not the end of the world. Prowler, pass, Arbor Elf, and Repurposer. Another monitor with 1 artifact on the field. Perfect. I guess we're going to journey the Arbor Elf so that I hopefully can avoid 6 and 7 drops for a turn or 2. They have a forest, so there could be a 6 drop. Structural Distortion on our only artifact. That's pretty good. Wish we kept the 7 card hand. Beautiful. Swing for 2. They get a forest, so that's Altasaur into Rumble. And they're going to pass. We get a bridge. What did they get off Rumble? Hunter's Ornament or an Avenging Hunter? They took the Hunter, of course. They just have another Structural Distortion. Attack for 9. We are down to 4. And we are dead. Well, that was an unfortunate match. This one looks okay. We need more blue mana, obviously, or any blue mana. But double Inspector with the ability to start cracking clues feels like it's not a hand I really want to throw away. Let's start with a Thraben Inspector. They're playing something red. We get a Mirror Enforcer. That makes me want to not crack my clue immediately. But the fact that I don't have blue mana kind of makes me want to crack it immediately. I think we will just go for the Inspector here. If I crack the clue and I find blue mana, it's probably worth it. But if I crack the clue and I don't, and suddenly I can't play my Enforcer, which technically I can't play anyway yet until I get another artifact land or something, or land of any kind, then it seems worse. But the Galvanic Blast, they thought about Galvanic Blasting the Inspector in the attack step and decided against it, and went for it now. Getting rid of the blocker in case they have a haste creature here. They do synth into a mountain, but nothing else for them. We do get a plains, so I can play a 3-mana Enforcer, which frankly I think I'm going to do. It's not the most impressive ever, but it's a pretty good blocker against what looks to be Rally, because they need to have a Galvanic Blast with Metalcraft to be able to kill it, or they have to double up on cards. They are going to bolt the Inspector here, and then I can start cracking my clues and hopefully find that blue mana, but this 1 Inspector can do a lot of work for us here. Epicure, and pass the turn. Pack Beast is costing 5 mana at the moment, so that's not going to work. Let's crack a clue. Ornithopter does reduce the cost of the Pack Beast a little bit, and it's a blocker, so it lets me attack with this Enforcer and not feel too bad about it. They're going to block. I kind of assume that means they have that plus a Bolt, but them doing this like control game is not really likely to work out for them, I don't think. I mean, if I get nothing that I can cast, then maybe it is going to work for them, but for now it just feels like they've spent a lot of resources to do very little. Crack a Synth, finds a Percussionist. We'll see if they have a mountain to play that, or a Great Furnace. There's the mountain. Of course, we can block it if they attack, so no attacks. Seat of the Synod would be our best draw, but I would take a Razortide Bridge. Another Pack Beast. We'll crack a clue. We get a Thoughtcast. We also have Springleaf Drum, so we have 12 blue sources we can draw. This entire deck, I'm just going to be recounting all of the numbers of cards that I have in the deck so that you know that I should be drawing better than I am. As we die to this Bushwhacker, this is 10 damage. So I guess their plan is going to work just because we've drawn terribly. There's the seat. Feels kind of too late. All I can play is 1 creature. Monitor blocks the best. It does die to a Bolt. Prowler can grow, but doesn't block very well for this turn, which is kind of what I need. I think I have to play a Monitor, and if we can keep it around, maybe I can survive a turn and then get down like maybe something else into a Pack Beast, and then we don't die. I don't know. They bolted immediately, of course. We block, we take 5, and they Fire Blast us. Amazing. All right, here are our removal spells. I feel like Pack Beasts are going to be too hard to maintain, so let's cut those and a Prowler, and mostly go off of our counter spells and our Enforcers and Monitors. They mulligan to 6. We'll play a Bridge. They, of course, have a Tomb Raider turn 1. We have a Stormcalled Prowler. Well, here's Ornithopter, which I probably should have played last turn because I could have blocked. I wouldn't have blocked this, but I could have blocked a Clockwork. That's okay. I can't play the Prowler and the Thoughtcast in the same turn, so I probably, or I can't do it this turn because I don't have the Springleaf Drum yet, but actually I think I want to do this. Play Inspector, hold up Hydroblast, and then with 4 artifacts next turn I can play Prowler and immediately grow it, which might make it survive a Galvanic Blast. They don't leave that up and have Metalcraft immediately, but it won't make it survive a Bolt unless I get like something else, so we'll see if that really matters. They're gonna swing. I think we're gonna just take this hit and then so that I can Hydro whatever else they cast, but I might kill this if they don't have anything else great to counter. Epicure, and that's it. All right, let's try to kill the Tomb Raider, see what they got. They let it go. Another Springleaf Drum. So Prowler dies so immediately. So I don't actually know if I care to play that. I think I'm just going to start with a Thoughtcast, actually, which obviously is a trigger we can't use here, but it seems worthwhile. And Double Inspector is honestly not bad in this matchup. Blockers are pretty good. And I could attack for one, but I think I'd rather have the blocker, so we will not. And they're going to Galvanic one of them down, kick a Bushwhacker, take out the Inspector. Yeah, so they get in for 4, but they only have 1 card left. We're at 11. Not feeling too bad. This would be a great time to get another Thoughtcast into like another thing that triggers this, but I guess not. Let's draw a card here. We did get an of One Mind, which I can cast. Actually do that. See if we get something else more interesting. Like a Blue Blast? Yeah. I can hold up a Clue or a Blue Blast, but that means they probably can't kill this, or I can counter like a Bushwhacker or something else relevant. If I do counter the Bushwhacker, this will be tapped, so they'll get in for 2, but it's either that or they're getting in for at least 4, so I think it's worthwhile. We will counter that. Take 2 here. Draw 2. We have another of One Mind and a Hydroblast. Let's crack a Clue, because I don't want to use up my blue mana yet, necessarily. And if I get like a Mirror Enforcer, then I can play Prowler, Mirror Enforcer, still hold up a Hydro. That seems pretty good. We got a Monitor. Okay. That does mean we're going to need to tap out for it, but I think that's worth it. Even if they have like a Bolt for this Prowler, then we still have the Monitor, so we have 2 blockers here. They just discard a Mountain to the Blood token, 2 fresh cards. Chain Lightning to the face. Okay, don't hate that because we have a Hydroblast. Of One Mind into a Thoughtcast trigger. They're thinking if they want to kill this, I assume, with like a Bolt or maybe even a Fire Blast. Or if they want to save it for our face. We're going to leave up a Hydroblast no matter what. Perfect. Play these. Mirror Enforcer. Prowler's an 8/7. Swing with that and the Monitor. Maybe should even swing with this other Inspector too. They're going to chump block, of course. Burning Tree Emissary is totally fine. It is just a 2/2. I think I am going to crack a Clue here. I didn't really want to tap out of the Hydroblast, but if they have a Fire Blast and want to use it now, I'm not dead. And then I still have Hydroblast for whatever their next thing is. So if they want to go for it, I think that's actually fine. And now we have an Envelop. That's not bad. Here's a bridge, draw 2, seat, play another Prowler, swing with the big guys, hit for 7, pass the turn. And we win that game. All right, last game here, we have a Hydroblast, Ornithopter. I think it's a keep, but it's a little awkward because of this land not being artifact land. I might not be able to play like a turn 2 Monitor or Thoughtcast. I don't have the humans for the of One Mind. I think the chances we draw something that turns this on or is a land is pretty high, but we'll see. They mulligan to 6. Ancient Den is pretty good. We're going to start with the seat so that we can hold up Hydroblast, but this allows us to next turn play like Thoughtcast or Monitor if I'd like. Yeah. Galvanic Blast the Ornithopter. I kind of need the Ornithopter, and we're so pinched on blue mana that I think I'm willing to just spend this here. If they have a Bolt for it, so be it, but it's a decent blocker, but it also is just like necessary for us to get to our Monitor and our Thoughtcast. Bridge helps a little bit. I do kind of want to play that, but I think we're just going to get down to Monitor before they can do anything else. And now if they want to kill the Monitor, we still have the Ornithopter for a Thoughtcast next turn, etc. They have a Burning Tree into a Ren's Resolve, which hits double Mountain. No attacks. All right, we get to Razortide Bridge into a Thoughtcast. We'll pass the turn. Next turn we can Thoughtcast and Monitor. There's a Reckless Impulse into Bolt Galvanic Blast. So I assume they're just going to eat the Monitor, maybe even the Ornithopter as well. Yep, take them both out. Luckily, they did a lot of work already. I can still play 1-drop Affinity guys here. Springleaf Drum. Let's go for a Thoughtcast. Hydroblast. Ooh, I actually can Hydroblast because I can play Monitor, Springleaf Drum, and if we need to Hydroblast something, we have it. Burning Tree is fine. That is not going to warrant an emergency button, but a Bushwhacker probably would here. That'd be a lot of damage. Clockwork is fine. There's the Bushwhacker. So if I let this resolve, I could block the Bushwhacker, but we're taking 10. Whereas if I counter it, I'm only taking 4. So that seems good. Let's do that. An Inspector would be like the best draw because then I get to play this for 1 mana. We get a Clue, another blocker. All right. Well, hopefully the draw 2 is decent anyway. It is decent. Enforcer plus Hydro is pretty nice. I don't think I need to start attacking. I could. I'm definitely just blocking both of these. I'm not going to let them get free damage in. They're going to turn into creatures or turn into cards at some point. Obviously, I hope they're just like a couple mountains, but even if it's relevant spells, they're just cashing these in for cards that, you know, I'll know about at least. Bushwhacker. They can play them next turn. And a Rally. I mean, those are very good hits. Do I counter a Rally or do I counter the Bushwhacker? Bushwhacker without the Rally is just a couple guys and I could block. Yeah, we're going to counter the Rally. I think the 1/1s are more valuable. Tomb Raider. Monitor's a pretty good draw. Kick a Bushwhacker. Somehow I had a feeling they were going to double Bushwhacker here. All right, that's pretty good. I do get to block here, and they don't die in the block here. I am taking 8, which means I could die to a Fire Blast. The alternative is I block like one of these on here, and I only take 6, but then they have 2 creatures and I only have 1. But their creatures are a 1/1 and a 2/2. Not dying to a Fire Blast I feel like seems good, actually. Let's do this. Block 2 extra damage. All we get's a seat. Pass the turn. They drew Cast into the Fire. Come on, dude. That's outrageous. Okay, sure. I suppose we lose. Well, not the best way to go out there, but I actually think this deck has a lot of potential. We saw the ability to go really, really fast against Dimir Fairies. We just absolutely crushed them with the Prowler, which is obviously the goal of the deck. There's only 4 Prowlers in the deck, and that's why we have the spinners to also do that kind of thing. But when you get it, I think it's really good. I definitely think that even the matches that we lost, Red Rally was really close. Panza, I think we got very unlucky, especially in that game 1. And Mono Red Madness, I think we just didn't build our deck properly. Probably getting some actual removal, maybe Thraben Charms, maybe counter spells. This would not be a bad deck for like Metallic Rebuke to be in. Something like that in the main deck I think would probably help quite a bit. I do think our mana base was also a little wrong. I had all these planes because I figured you wanted the white mana earlier for these inspectors, but then we're actually pretty evenly white and blue, if not a little more skewed towards blue, and especially when we were bringing in all the blasts, we did not have enough blue mana. So I think that 2 of these should easily be islands, if not more, or maybe like more dual lands or something. So I think that there's some potential here. I also, because it was the first iteration of the deck, pretty much just put play sets of everything in except for the Lens Flare and the Spinner. I certainly think that we could cut some of these down. Maybe Pack Beast is only a 2 of or a 3 of, something like that, and Spectre doesn't have to be 8. So there's a little bit more wiggle room for some other cards. Of course, I think that the point is like Prowler, Enforcer, Monitor. These are going to be 4 ofs, Thoughtcasts for sure. Of One Mind. I mean, if anything, I'd love to have more draw 2s for a single mana. But I think there's a lot of things that we can play around with in this deck. I think it's actually got some potential. I do think Prowler could be a little better for it to really be a standout card, either some protection or evasion or something like that. But we did see the potential there, and so I think that it's something I'm going to keep working on. As I said, it's a deck I've been working on for quite a while, and I'm pretty happy that we were able to make something happen out of it. Even if it was only a 2/3, I think that it was still a pretty big success for being the first league played with this deck. In any case, thanks so much for watching. If you want to support me on a monthly basis, go ahead and check out my YouTube memberships, which gives you early access to my videos. Thanks to my current $10 and up supporters, Howard Granger, Halcaz, DJ Vinyl, Paladin Dylan C, Blackjack Davey, Max, Lucas Lage 3463, and Heckboy 1337. I really appreciate the support, and I will see you all next time.